Good morning, everyone. I'm Dara Ballo-Giffen. I'm the Community Events Chair for Montgomery County. I wanted to spend just a few minutes this morning covering community events. So first, why community events are a great way to get your volunteer hours. Second, where to find out about events that could use your expertise and enthusiasm. And third, how to request that Master Gardeners participate in events that you may be aware of in your community. So starting with why community events are my personal favorite way to volunteer. They are fun. You get to go to the community event. It may be one you already would have attended, and you get to talk about gardening with other people that love gardening. So there's just nothing wrong with that. They're a one-time commitment. So you don't have to block off your calendar for weeks and months to come. You just sign up for one event, you attend that one event, and you've fulfilled your commitment. And they are usually on weekends. So for any of you that have weekday commitments, this can be a really accessible way to get your volunteer hours. So we're all ready to volunteer for community events. Perfect. Now, how do you find them? So for each event, I will send out an email to the listserv with the information and a sign-up link. From there, you can sign yourself up for the events. And I'll include the information of how to log your hours for community events to make sure that's super clear. We typically, for each event, will have one volunteer that is the lead for that event that can answer questions the day of, that would be responsible for bringing any additional materials. There is a consolidated page of opportunities on the sign up website. So all of the community events will list out, and that link will be shared in Carol's announcement email later today. So third, if there's an event that you love and you go to every year, how do you encourage or get Master Gardeners to participate? How do you see if we can cover that? So there's a form that we have online. That link will also be in Carol's notes. And in that form, you can just list the information about the event and provide the details, and then we can take it from there. New events that we don't participate in as an annual event will need Steve's approval, and then it would flow through our usual volunteer staffing. I will say now is a great time to submit information on spring events. Spring is a really busy time, not only for all of us as gardeners, but also specifically for community events. Everyone is getting excited about gardening in spring. We have Earth Day. Last year, almost 50% of all of the community events we did in the year occurred in April. So just to give you some, there's a lot coming. So to close, I'll give you just a short preview of the upcoming community events that we know about. And these will be, I'll share these links out as well after the meeting. So we have Rake the Lake with Montgomery Village Garden Club on 4/25. Also on the 25th, Montgomery Green Fest at Black Rock in Germantown. And then on June 6th, Sandy Spring Museum's popular Strawberry Festival. So I expect to share a lot more events with you throughout the year, but hopefully this gets you excited to represent Master Gardeners in community events. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Daryl. Dave, you're up talking about spring sprouts.
Okay, and Chuck, do you want to show that dynamic picture?
Yes, I'll pull it right up.
Okay, well, the picture's coming up. As Steve mentioned, we have ordered plants already, and next week we'll order the last batch that we need for the sale. So this is really happening. I want to thank the people that have already volunteered to help select the plants that we're going to sell. I also want to thank everyone on this call in advance for your word of mouth, public relations, getting the word out that the sale will be happening. Joel Patton's working on an official PR plan for the sale, but word of mouth always is a very strong, attractive way of getting folks together. The plant sale will offer herbs, vegetables, tomatoes, and perennials. On the screen is a picture of an item that we need for the plant sale. It's a strawberry box. This is the box that strawberries are shipped to the grocery stores in, and they are good for us to use for customers to collect the plants they want to buy as they go through the sale. The advantage of using the strawberry boxes or blueberry boxes, although they're smaller, is that they stack very neatly. So we can collect the 150 that we need and store them in a very short period of space. As we get closer to the sale, if I don't get enough commitments for strawberry boxes, we'll reach out and cut down Amazon boxes, and any variety of box will ultimately work. When I've collected these in the past, I've gone to the grocery store and asked for the produce manager. Some stores will collect them for you. Some don't have the space. Anyway, thanks in advance. We have 2 folks already volunteering, so I've got a commitment for 50 boxes. I could use another 100, and my email will be in the announcements, I'm sure, if you're interested in collecting them. And thirdly today, Leanne Gilletley is working on signage for each variety of plant that will identify on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper what the plant in front of that sign is, what the horticultural needs are, pretty much like you'd see at any garden center. She is looking for volunteers to help us collect content. And so I know Carol will put her email in the announcements to let her know if you'd like to be part of collecting content for these signs. And lastly, we will have a sign-up sheet probably in the March area for how you can volunteer to make the plant sale successful. And that's all I have for today.
Okay, let's go over to Ann Claxton.
Okay, hi everybody, and welcome back. Even though it's cold, very, very cold and snowy here, I know we're all looking forward to our new season of gardening. So I wanted to let everybody know that plant clinics, of which we have 13 all around the county, will continue this year to use signup.com for volunteer master gardeners to sign up to volunteer for our plant clinics. We are currently working on the new 2026 signup.com sign-up sheets. So please wait for us to let you know that the sign-up sheets are live, and that will be at the end of March, towards the end of March. Last 2 weeks of March, we'll put the sign-up sheets live, and they will be available for you to go into the website, into our website, where it says volunteer opportunities, and you'll be able to select different from among all of the locations and the dates and so forth that you want to volunteer for the plant clinics. So we will let you know more about when they're going to be ready. We'll announce it this way through the general meeting and also on our groups IO, and we'll let you know that it's time to sign up as volunteers for the plant clinics. And the plant clinics won't start until April. Some of them start in the beginning of April, mid-April, and then so you'll have a few weeks to review the whole year, and all during the year you can continue to sign up for vacancies as well during the season, spring and summer. In the meantime, our plant clinic coordinators, Jeanette Demore and myself, our co-chairs, will be holding an in-person training for the plant clinic coordinators. So every plant clinic has 1 or 2 coordinators, and we'll have a meeting for the coordinators to review how to use the signup.com and also to distribute these PR materials that we want to have at all of the plant clinic tables that Steve was talking about. So plant clinic coordinators, please look out for the email invitation from Jeanette and myself. And this meeting will be on March 12th at Durwood, I think at 10:00 a.m. At Durwood, and it'll be a chance for us together to review the season and the new sign-up process, which is the same as last year. It's not different. And to get our materials, our PR materials. So please look forward to that email invitation from us. That's for the plant clinic coordinators. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I knew I took a chance muting myself of not being able to come back. Anyway, all right. Chuck, let's get these recognitions going and so Kate can do her presentation. So while Chuck is bringing up the slides, I know we're starting a new year, and certainly I wasn't ready for Snowcrete the way it was, but it hit us anyway. But I do want to take a minute to just thank all of our volunteers, like everybody in all the different programs, and a special recognition to the people that lead those groups. So this is the board and the committee chairs. So when you get a chance, Chuck, go ahead and go to the next slide. There we go. So, Montgomery County Master Gardener Board, Linda Barrett, your president, right here. First Vice President, Dave Ottolini. Second Vice President, Dave Colicchio. And I know I probably said that wrong. So apologies, but Dave is new to the board. And next slide. And so Secretary Carol Kosry, past President is Renew Murick, and Treasurer Sue DeGraba. And then I know it says committee chairs, but really these were our program directors. So they're kind of over each of the committees. So Beth Myers is our information tables and education. Ann Hilliard, hands-on education. Susan Kirby, demonstration gardens. Go ahead. Terry Valente with major education, and Iman Zohar with communications. And very important to have a class, intern class representative, and that's Tracy Katoski. All right, so then we have our committee chairs. Yay, those are the people you interact with all the time. So Ian Claxton and Jeanette Diamore with plant clinics, so they can answer all your questions there. Urban gardening is led by Ian Claxton and Lana Shea. And you met earlier Dara Ballo-Giffen, who is now our community events tables. So welcome to her. Next, there we go. And then hands-on education. So Baywise is Ann Claxton and myself, Linda Barrett. New in therapeutic horticulture, Eleni Clark and Carol Logan. And I know they've hit the ground running and are doing a wonderful job with therapeutic horticulture. So thank you. Food rescue and gleaning, Kat Kahn and Robin Kugelnick. And youth garden, Emma Brennan, Mary Lou Johnson, and Kara Singh. Kara, I need a picture of you when you get a chance. Next. And then Nature Forward, the gardens, Nature Forward, Janet Owens, Joy Adler, the Beal Dawson House, Betty Chichi, the Fairgrounds, Pam Bates, Durwood Demo Garden, Mary Jo Egan and Wendy Thomas. Next. At the National Library of Medicine Herb Garden, Sandy Akapinti, and at the USO Garden, Michaela Barnes and Yumiko Mura. And then with major events, we have Gail Green and Mark Traversa that lead our Close Encounters with Agriculture. Harvest Festival is Mike Welsh and Taffy Turner. And new to our Speakers Bureau, our new lead or chairperson there is Joel Patton. So thank you to him. Communications, we have Allison Edwards that takes care of the seed. Social events, Carol Kosery, and Sue DeGraba is new to that. So thank you to Sue for jumping in there for leading. And public relations, Leanne Galletley and Hillary Longo. And finally, task forces, Chuck Delaney with the tech team, and Marie Rojas with fall conference, Bev Carriger with social media, and Carol Kosery and Pam Hosmer with garden educators. And I think that's our last slide. Oh, nope, more. Got VMS, very important. KD Mackay. Spring Sprouts, our new event for the spring. Joel Patton and Dave Colicchio. Webmasters, Renew Merrick and Sherry Borski. She's new to us. And then Mission in Motion, Renew, Mandy Gordon, and Alan Perper. I think that's our last slide. There we go. Anyway, thank you to all those people for helping to lead, and thank you to everybody that volunteers for all those activities. You all are very wonderful. All right. Dave Alini, you're up.
All right. I'm even unmuted. Amazing. Morning, everybody. Kate Medina. Kate is Montgomery County native and the founding executive director of the Charles Coiner Conservancy for Urban Farming, which is a nonprofit land trust dedicated to protecting and managing urban farms and gardens in Montgomery County. Under Kate's leadership, the Conservancy established Maryland's first conservation easement on an urban farm, launched a community gardens program with the Housing Opportunities Commission of Montgomery County, and championed a resilience hub and urban farm on public school property. Prior to her nonprofit work, Kate was an adjunct biology professor at Montgomery College and worked on the other side of grants in the EPA's Clean Water State Revolving Fund, where she led the Green Project Reserve, a small set-aside of funding for innovative clean water projects. Kate is a graduate of AU, which I also am a graduate of, at least on the master's side, with degrees in biology and environmental biology. This year is Kate's 9th growing season as the executive director of the Charles Coiner Conservancy, and she's most looking forward to a high tunnel rising in early March, working with the care farmers on Thursdays, and hopefully finding a way to work more closely with our beloved master gardeners. So with that, Kate, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Hang on one second. Let me X out of that and let me go to, well, that's okay. I can do it. Share my screen. Sorry, I just did this beforehand. I got it now. Okay. Okay. There we go. And okay, took me a minute, but I think we're here. Can everybody see the opening slide titled Reclaiming Urban Land for Community Resilience?
Yes,
All
looks
right,
good.
good. And you can hear me okay? Do I need to speak up or anything? I'll try to do that.
Sound good? The
All
volume
right,
is good.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you first very much for having me today. I have followed the work of Master Gardeners since I started on this journey in urban farming and have always appreciated the support that your members have given over the years. I just want to call out Susan Eisendrath, who has been a particular champion for this work. Linda, you've been at Corner Farm so much. Thank you. Many others. So anyways, just we're very grateful for your help. Today I'm going to be speaking about the 3 sites. Actually, I can go here now. Today I'm going to be speaking about the 3 sites that Dave mentioned in the introduction, including Coiner Farm, right in downtown Silver Spring, which is protected with a conservation easement. Our community gardens with the Housing Opportunities Commission. That is sort of something different that we've started and somehow have kept going. And then a big time project that has really been my focus for the past 2 years, which is the Reach Hub and Farm at Lordman Middle School in Wheaton. Reach is an initiative of Montgomery County Public Schools. It stands for Resilience, Education, Action, Climate, Habitat. It's not really a sentence, but all those words sound really great. So let's put them together. And it's a really exciting project, so I'm happy to share it. And then I'll conclude with opportunities, hopefully, and I'll also interweave this throughout the presentation on opportunities for Master Gardener's involvement. Like I said, we're grateful for the support we've gotten over the years, and we're hoping that we can continue to grow this relationship. Okay, so first, just quick background on what is the Charles Coiner Conservancy. The Charles Coiner Conservancy is a nonprofit community land trust, a CLT. This is a specific type of land trust, usually used for affordable housing, community agriculture, civic space, or any combination thereof. The first community land trust in the United States is the New Communities Community Land Trust. That is in Georgia, and that was established in 1969 by the Sherrod family. If you haven't seen the documentary titled The Arc of Justice, I strongly recommend that you watch that. It is just a great account, a very detailed account of the struggles that Black farmers had to hold on to their land. So community land trusts, they're found throughout the world, and they're particularly effective at preserving land for marginalized communities and protecting these communities from the threats of gentrification. To our knowledge, the Charles Coiner Conservancy is the only community land trust operating in Montgomery County, but there are a lot of other examples of community land trusts. Some close by ones would be the Douglas CLT in Anacostia and the Charm City and South Baltimore CLT in Baltimore, obviously. And I'm happy to share more about this model and why it works for us if there's any questions at the end. All right. So here is the logic behind why we incorporated specifically as a community land trust and why our focus is on community agriculture. Simply, like this very simple equation here, nutritious food plus social emotional connections equals more effective learning and healthier living. So that is quite simply what we're trying to achieve. So we protect land for community use in agriculture. All right, so now to Coiner Farm. Here's some great pictures of Coiner Farm. I'm gonna go like way back in history for a second. Sorry, but it's all gonna come full circle. So just like go on this like roller coaster with me for a minute. But this is what Coiner Farm looks like right now. As you can see from the name of our organization, we are named after a gentleman named Charles Coiner. So who was Charles Coiner? He's often referred to as Montgomery County's first urban farmer, and here's why. Let's go to, yeah. So first I want to say that Charles Coiner, he was born in 1920 on a fruit and vegetable farm along Rockville Pike. This farm, this farm, you know, it was about 30 acres. It's kind of a mid-sized farm for that time. The land had previously been, I'm going to go here, had previously been used for tobacco growing. And so Charlie Coiner grew up at a time when there were a lot of inputs needed into the soil to help the land recover from years of tobacco farming, which really strips the land of its nutrients. That's just a little background on the style of the challenges that Charlie's family faced at that time. If I go back even before the early 1900s and I go back to the 1800s, Josiah Henson was enslaved on a large farm, about 100 acres or more, also in Rockville, along Rockville Pike and what is now like Executive Boulevard. Over generations, that particular, I think we can call it a plantation, if you will. I mean, Maryland did have plantations, where Josiah Henson was enslaved. That particular property was divided up over the years, and one of those smaller farms became the original Coiner farm. And I just find that piece of information sort of interesting because it really places these two influential Montgomery County men and the different conditions in which they were working the land, and just sort of centers us around the evolution of agriculture in Montgomery County. I talked a little bit about tobacco farms, which were the predominant type of farm in the early 1900s and the impact of that on Charlie Coiner's farming experience. I also talked about how Coiner Farm, the original Coiner Farm, was along Rockville Pike. And so Charlie's family would load up a flatbed wagon, hook it up to a mule, and carry their produce up to Rockville Pike. Of course, it looked a lot different back then, but it was still and always has been a very important, historically important route. It was, I mean, Rockville Pike, that pathway was used by Native Americans as a transportation of goods passageway. It was used during the Revolutionary War, even before the Revolutionary War, as you know, with taverns sharing information and sharing ideas. The top left corner image there where it says early 1900s, you can see what Rockville Pike looked like at that time. This is around the time that Charlie Coiner was born. You can then see the transition over the next several decades. And this is sort of tracing Charles Coiner's life and what we saw. And Rockville Pike was just an incredible microcosm of the changes that were happening in society in the 1900s throughout Charlie Coiner's life. Okay. Charlie Coiner, he went to school at the historic Montrose Schoolhouse. He would tell stories about arriving early and putting coal in the coal burning fireplace to heat the school. In the before the 1950s, in the early 1950s, I should say, Coiner Farm was sold. The original Coiner Farm, that 30-acre fruit and vegetable farm that I mentioned, was sold and became the original Corvette shopping strip. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was in the 1950s. That might be, you know, way before us, or at least too young to remember. After that, the same location where the original Coiner Farm was located became Mid-Pike Plaza. This I do remember. I mentioned that I am a Montgomery County native. This is where you had the Toys R Us and the Silver Diner. I remember that particular shopping mall. And just like look at the cover. I mean, this Charlie Coiner worked so hard on this land to restore that soil. And this is what it became. And today, this is what it looks like. So here is what the original Coiner Farm is today, Pike and Rose. A beautiful mixed use, kind of the gem of Montgomery County when it comes to high-end shopping and urban living. Side note, I am trying to get some sort of plaque put up at Pike and Rose to identify the history of this location. That's sort of fallen off my to-do list, so I need to rekindle that effort. But if anybody wants to help with that, I'm open to assistance. Okay. After Charlie's family sold the family farm in the 50s, Charlie actually continued his life as a farmer. He went to work for the Shriver and family on Timberlawn Farm. He was there at the time that Eunice Kennedy Shriver started Special Olympics, which is sort of interesting. So he was the groundskeeper for the first couple years of Special Olympics. He was there when Sergeant Shriver was on the vice presidential ticket. He remembers the Kennedy kids coming out to visit their cousins and had great stories about that time. He spent his entire career at Timberlawn Farm before retiring in 1979 and moving to downtown Silver Spring, where he had one parcel of land that was about a fifth of an acre. But over the course of 40 years during his retirement, Charlie Coiner bought up the adjacent parcels that adjoined his 1/5 acre until he had about a full acre of land. He had no real estate or investment incentives in doing this. It was just for his ever-growing backyard garden that eventually became a farm, and he named it Coiner Farm. So this is the second Coiner Farm that Montgomery County has, and it is located in East Silver Spring, which is a neighborhood of downtown Silver Spring, 1 block from the business district of downtown Silver Spring. I make a little note here at the bottom about the 2010 documentary titled Corner Plot. It's very hard to say when you keep saying Coiner and then to say corner. It's very difficult. But it is you can find it on Vimeo, or I can send you the link after this. It aired at the AFI Theater in downtown Silver Spring. It's a 10-minute video, but it is, wonderful story of Charlie Coiner's way of living. It's not like his life story that I just gave. It's just sort of his ethos. And anyways, it's inspirational for gardeners. About 35 years into Charlie Coiner's retirement, he now owns a full acre or 5 residential plots in downtown Silver Spring. His property taxes are around $24,000 a year. And this is becoming too much for him. He's also, of course, bought up all this land. And it is too much for his family to afford. They're also getting solicited daily, honestly, daily, from developers vying for their land. But they really did not want to sell. So Montgomery County Council passed what's called the Urban Agriculture Property Tax Credit. This was in 2017. And I give a lot of kudos to Lynn Coiner, who is Charlie Coiner's daughter, for taking this route. I give a lot of credit to Lynn Coiner across the board, because not only did she help protect Coiner Farm while when faced with very steep financial pressures, she also then went on and honored her father's wishes to have the land protected after he passed. So that's pretty cool. So I can go back to that if anybody wants to know. So the property tax credit was really instrumental in helping Charlie Coiner hang on to his land, but it did nothing to preserve the long-term protection of this property beyond Charlie Coiner. And at the time, he was 98 years old. And so that is when myself and several others from the community went to the Maryland Environmental Trust, and we asked the Maryland Environmental Trust to protect Coiner Farm. They said it was too small. They said it was outside of their purview, outside of the area where they focus, and it would be too expensive for them to ensure protection of Coiner Farm. That was the same response they had given to many farms in Baltimore, particularly in Baltimore, I'll say. But they also took note that Coiner Farm was the first property that the landowner was also doing the farming. More often than not, on urban parcels, either you have a situation of guerrilla gardening, where a community group is just, gardening on a vacant plot without permission. Other times there is permission, but it's a short-term lease, or the organization that is doing the farming, they aren't the property owners. So whatever the land tenure agreement is. But Coiner Farm was different. And so because of that, because the property owner wanted the farm protected and was the farmer, the Maryland Environmental Trust went back, they revised their bylaws. They said that the state environmental trust can protect an urban property if there is a local steward in place. That local steward could be master gardeners. It could be a nonprofit, such as the Charles Pointer Conservancy. It could be any other of the gardening groups here in Montgomery County. It does not have to be a land trust. We happen to be a land trust, but just wanted to clarify that so that, you know, this has been a challenge with urban farms and gardens for a long time. The land tenure, and they become a very important piece of a community. We don't want to see them lost, but development pressures in urban areas are so great that that unfortunately over the years we have lost a lot of gardens. So here's Coiner Farm today. We say that we have 6 core programs. Some of those are listed here. If you look at the pictures, the top left one is of our interns. We then have care farming, which is farming for young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We have what we used to call field trips, we now call farm club. Field trips implied it was a one-time visit. Farm club implies that you come again and again. So yes, we still do field trips. It's just farm club now. And then the large main picture on this screen, we do a lot of events. So we try to align our events with our align our events with our markets. So it drives customers and then just encourages them, like, keep on coming, come to our market for the food and just keep on coming into the farm because we've got a lot of stuff happening up here, from concerts to educational workshops and talks. That's an example of a great opportunity for master gardeners. I know some of you in the past have already done these workshops for us and we're very grateful. But if you have something to share, some information to share, we do monthly workshops and it's pretty good attendance. So okay. Other opportunities for master gardeners, we run volunteerships. These are 12-week commitments for a 2-hour shift every week. And by commitment, obviously things come up, but like generally you're on that crew. You're on that volunteer crew. You get to know those people. You come every week at the same time. And most of our volunteers sign up for, 12-week session after 12-week session after 12-week session. They do the whole 36-week season. And most of them come back year after year, which is why it frustrates some people that we have a waiting list, but we do give priority to those who come back year after year. I already mentioned workshops and events, so I'll move on. Okay, so that's Coiner Farm. Don't worry, the other examples are much shorter. I don't have as many slides. In addition to Coiner Farm, we also run a few community gardens. This does start to fall a little bit outside of our community land trust model, but here's how we justify it. There are layers of protection. The lowest layer of protection for an urban farm or urban garden would be a long-term lease. So at a minimum, we say we need a 10-year commitment from the property owner before we're going to invest into a farm or garden on your property. And so that's what we have with HOC. We have a 10-year MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with HOC to assist with community gardens on 3 different sites. It's Fenton Silver Spring Apartments in downtown Silver Spring, the Paddington Square Apartments. I guess that's still downtown Silver Spring. It's over like down East-West Highway a touch. Oh, near Rosemary Hills Elementary School. And then the Bauer Senior Living Apartments, which is new, which is over near our second location in Wheaton, Aspen Hill kind of area. And here's one more picture here. So what do we offer with this program with the Housing Opportunities Commission? We do 4 times a year plant doctor. Okay, that's where our head farm manager comes and helps clean up the beds, get them all looking good again. We do seed start giveaways twice a year. We offer market vouchers. So that is $10 to $20. So it's $10 for an individual or $20 for a family vouchers to our markets. And you can see some of the recipients of those market vouchers pictured below. And then for HOC residents, for residents of the Housing Opportunities Commission's apartments who have mobility issues, we also provide transportation to our market and or CSA deliveries, community supported agriculture shares, delivered directly to their apartment. So our relationship with the Housing Opportunities Commission has really ballooned, but they've always been a great partner, and they're helping us achieve our mission through cooperative land stewardship particularly for marginalized or vulnerable communities who may not have reliable access to land. So that's why it's a great partnership. Okay, last one, the Reach Hub and Farm. This is at Lorderman Middle School in the Wheaton Aspen Hill area of Montgomery County. There are 4 schools, all sort of so 2 schools, it's Lorderman Middle School and Weller Road Elementary School. Both of those are community schools, and they share a fence line with this urban farm. And then you have 2 more high schools. That's Wheaton High School and Thomas Edison Tech High School, which are 2 blocks away. So there's 4 high schools all within like 2 blocks of this urban farm. There are actually 20 public schools within 2 miles of this farm. So this is pretty high density area. The idea for the REACH initiative, the Resilience Education Action Climate Habitat Initiative of Montgomery County Public Schools, it evolved out of the Board of Education's sustainability policy, which was passed in 2022, in June, it says here, June 28th of 2022. So, and I give a couple bullet points here of what the sustainability policy is trying to achieve. But simply, there are a couple of different categories here. So you have MCPS's commitment to restoration of existing facilities, including green roofs, greenhouses, other elements such as that. You have small scale, and school-based student-led projects. A lot of these are done through the Student Climate Action Council, SCAC, of Montgomery County. You have tree planting. And so those 3 categories of the sustainability policy, those had been implemented in the first 2 years after the policy was passed. And I would say they were already happening. Like, these were things that were already, the MCPS was already doing. They just tied it back to the policy and maybe bolstered these things a little bit. But here is something new and where we fit in. The 4th category over here, where it says invest in resilience, education, action, climate habitat, REACH. And this is through the Montgomery County Public Schools Facilities Department. So this is something new, and that's the part where we fit in. So what is this all about? Essentially, what the school system is trying to do is to reinvigorate these spaces, the schoolyards, and make them not only educational spaces, more educational in their space, more tactile, more immersive, but also create sort of these community hubs where the community wants to be in these spaces. So the image here shows you have a living schoolyard combined with a resilience hub. Montgomery County has 1, maybe 2 other resilience hubs. The most notable one is at Scotland Community. Essentially, these are places in the community where, during a climate disaster or other type of emergency, residents know to go for resources and support. So you would have public charging stations, you would have increased food and water distribution, you would have accessible cold storage if you needed to keep medications, refrigerated. Those are the type of community services that this site will provide to the broader community in the event of a disaster. But day in and day out, it is used as a living schoolyard, and in our case, an urban farm, as the living schoolyard with community programs, internships, farm club, all those educational pieces, workshops, and a market. So people come every week. Here's the design, the original design for what the Reach Hub and Farm at Lordeman was supposed to look like. And we're pretty good. So the farm is, we say the farm is like 85 to 90% constructed. The piece down here at the bottom, which is a stormwater part, that's not our responsibility. That's being done in partnership with DEP, Department of Environmental Protection. That has not yet started, but that includes like an amphitheater, gathering space, information distribution. But the teaching plot was began construction in 2024 and completed in 2025. The production plot began construction in 2025 and is still ongoing, but a lot of it is done. There are 139 raised beds, which all had to be built, filled, and planted. So that gives you an idea of the scope of this project. And then here you can see these little tiny, I don't know if you can even see my cursor actually, but along the pathway, you can see a bunch of little markets, little market tents all along there. That's where the market is held. Okay. Here are our partners that helped this project get off the ground. The box to the left that starts with Montgomery County Public Schools shows all of our sort of boots on the ground operating partners. So everyone who helped either construct it, design it, running programs there. The box on the right are all of our funders, all of our major funders. And then the row at the bottom includes organizations that we want to partner with on this project, in the coming years. And Master Gardeners is on there. I will also add that Community Farm Share and the Community Food Forest Collective, that's it, which is the first two logos here on the bottom row. We have draft MOUs with them, so we're really moving along with these partnerships. Okay, here are the existing conditions of what it looks like. You can see all the programs we have going on. Top middle is internships. Top right is markets. And then I think top left is Farm Club. That's a Farm Club student. I think that's a Farm Club student, although he looks a little old. We have a lot of cold storage, probably more cold storage than we need. So we've been reaching out to partners to say, hey, we have more than we need. How can we share this with you? Do our missions align on this, and what can we do? And then here's the teaching plot that I mentioned is completed. You can see the public charging stations. One person, one student is over in the background there. Can you see my cursor? I don't know. One student is over in the background there using the charging station. Solar's on everything. Solar's on these these blue charging stations. It's on just this little teeny tiny tool rack. It's on the shed, and it will continue to be built out. Okay, more existing conditions. A lot going on with our interns. So this is all of our high schools. These are all of our high school students working. They come twice a week, 2 hours each day. So Monday, Wednesday for 2 hours a day. Here's the future plans. Like I said, there's still more to come. We've built out the farm, but some of the resilience elements have not yet been built out. So they want to have a gathering space, which would be used in a climate disaster for the public, but day in and day out used for just little study pods for students. That's in the top left. There is interest in agrovoltaics as an agrivoltaic demonstration area. I know that agrovoltaics in some circles can be almost like a dirty word. It's contentious. So I think demonstration areas like this, where people can start to understand and see what it's all about, are important. And again, opportunities for Master Gardeners to get involved. We do a ton of volunteer days. In 2025, we had, we had one major volunteer day with about 500 people, 500 students, I should say. It was insane. We did one of those in 2024 as well. So we can host really big volunteer days, but we prefer smaller ones of like 100 people or less. But we work with all different types of groups from Habitat for Humanity to the Mission Continues to Montgomery County Conservation Corps. Those are some of our big partners in hosting the volunteer days. And that's all I have. So here's my contact information. My email is there, kate@ckcfarming.org. I've included my colleagues on here as well. Emily is our head farm manager. So if you have a specific plant question, Emily is your go-to person. If you have a community question about a community engagement, Hannah is your person. You can follow us on social media. You can find us at CKC Farming, and our website is provided here as well. And with that, I'll pull up the chat to see if there's questions and get everybody on my screen. Okay, there we go. Chat. Okay. Do we have time to take a few questions, or do we have other things to do?
Chuck, are you there?
Yes.
All right.
And I think Dick has been taking some notes and monitoring the chat during the talk, so he may want to reach out and add a question or here too. One I know, Kate, that I'd like to know a little bit more is, are there places we can go to see some of this in action? Are there certain hours or restrictions on when we can see some of these things?
Great question. Yeah. Coiner Farm in downtown Silver Spring is treated like a park. It's open dawn to dusk. And you're welcome to just explore the gardens. The programming happens in the afternoon, usually. So usually, and in season. So from, beginning of March through, almost to Thanksgiving, you can find us there in the evenings and afternoons. There are a couple morning shifts. For example, our harvest shift is in the morning, but in general, afternoons are a good bet because that's when students are available. So a lot of our volunteers are young professionals, so that's when they want to get there. So that's Coiner. If you go to the Reach Hub at Lorton Middle School, you're going to have to look through a locked gate, unfortunately. It's a totally different feel. It feels very much like a school. Again, though, if you come in the afternoons, Mondays or Wednesdays or Saturdays, that is when our programming is taking place at Loderman. And then for the HOC gardens, those are going to be a little trickier. Some of them are up on balconies, like for the whole, apartment complex, not like a individual family's balcony, but like a large balcony where you could have events and stuff like that. And then others are sort of back behind parking lots, wherever we could fit in with the HOC, we did. And for HOC, we're not there very often. I mentioned Plant Doctor 4 times a year and plant giveaways twice a year. Other than that, it's run very much like a community garden with HOC residents trying to maintain it. Great question. I saw some questions about water, about composting. Yes, Coiner Farm continues to have a community composting program. We just re-signed our contract with our compost manager. So Coiner Farm has one 3-bin hot composter that we have maintained at that site since, Susan, when did we put that in? 2019? 2018? And then the Reach Hub at Lorderman Middle School has 2 composters. One of them has solar powered blowers, just like the one at the Ag History Farm Park. So it's almost constructed. It's almost constructed fully. So we're getting there. So one of the composters at the Reach Hub is good and operating, but the one with the blowers, we ran into some problems, but it's getting there. We're gonna get there. Regarding water, oh gosh, water. Yeah. Water at the Reach Hub, very expensive. Let's see. It was $168,000. There we go. That's the number to do water at the Reach Hub. We used the Maryland Department of Agriculture's let's see, what is the name of that grant called? I think it's called Power and Water, Small Farm Power and Water Grant. That's what it's called. I hate to admit this, but we might have ruined that grant. Like, we took a lot of money for the Reach Hub, and it threw up some red flags within the Department of Agriculture at the state level. And so anyways, but we continue to advocate for it and to show off how successful and important that program was for what we've done at Lordman Middle School. But yes, so we, for the water, we had to put in all of the water infrastructure above ground and below ground. All of the teaching plot beds are now hooked up to drip lines. And in 2026, we will hook up the other 100 beds in the production plot to drip as well. Right now, yeah, all we have are the taps, and it runs through the school. So there's a sub-meter in the school, and you know, they invoice us for water. So that's how we run it. I hope that answers the question. Questions? So it says here, so Anne has a good comment. She said, I think that Master Gardeners assisted students to plant some of those spaces last year. Let's see what she's talking about. Sorry, I'm having trouble.
Hi, I'll just explain. I think Master Gardeners participated in your big volunteer day last year, I believe, at the middle school.
Yes, I think you might have.
Yeah, and I just know that my team was planting with the students I think there were some retention areas or something like that. Yeah. And
Exactly.
It was great. It was a huge, huge event, and Habitat for Humanity was there building the beds, and lots and lots of groups were there doing different tasks. It was a great event. And
it was a great event. Nature Forward was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was asking about, I think, but yeah, came back to me.
Thank you, Anne, for clarifying. Absolutely. You're 100% right. Okay. All right. Well, that looks like all the questions in the chat, I think. If I missed anybody's, please feel free to, if you can, come off mute and ask. Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to Steve.
Okay, thanks. Oh, thanks, Kate. And thanks for your presentation. And just going to wrap things up here, guys. Thanks for everyone joining us here today. And again, thanks to Kate, our tech team, and our board members here too. And just a reminder, for donations, you make the check just to the University of Maryland. That's all you got to do. No extension. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up and let you guys enjoy the rest of the day. It's getting a little sunny outside. Counting down each day. Each day we get about a minute or two longer sun setting, so it won't be long, I hope. Be out there in the garden, I hope. So anyway, I'll wrap things up here and have a good day, everyone.